Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
NEWJEANS versus HYBE, the biggest legal battle in K-pop.
Who is he?
So this video got suggested in the YouTube algorithm to us. Now, page says lawyer and soul, so I figured it would be interesting to see what the legal professional says it. However, anybody can make a profile saying they're a lawyer, so I guess we all have to kind of take
allegedly.
Take everything he says with a grain of salt. It's not a fact. We don't really know if he's a lawyer. What's his motivation behind it, etc., etc.
His lawyer number, like his bar number?
I don't know if they have that in Seoul. So I don't know if he who he is.
Because I know I've seen other in the States they did it too as well.
Hi, my name is Ji-won Lee and I'm a criminal defense attorney from Korea. His contact information, Facebook.
Gmail?
Maybe he's a legit thing. I don't know, but
you guys will let us know.
Yeah, but let's see what he says.
Yeah.
A legal battle of unprecedented scale in the history of K-pop idol groups has begun. It's NEWJEANS versus their parent company HYBE, the home of BTS. The future lawsuit amounts to a staggering
It's
600
crazy,
billion Korean.
I had read friends home of BTS.
Well, and he's dressed the part and everything, so
Almost $500 million. Hello, this is your attorney, Ji-won Lee. On November 28, 2024, NEWJEANS held an emergency press conference to announce the termination of their contract with Adore. NEWJEANS claimed they had sent a notice detailing 8 contractual violations committed by Adore, but that these issues were not resolved. In summary, NEWJEANS argues that there were grounds for contract termination due to Adore's faults, and since Adore did not address the issues, the contract has been terminated automatically. Now, the critical question is whether the reasons NEWJEANS cited for terminating the contract are legally valid. For your information, I am a fan of both NEWJEANS and BTS. They are treasures of Korea and K-pop. But at the same time, I'm a lawyer, and I have an obligation to provide accurate information in accordance with my conscience and the law. Therefore, I will...
He presents legit. The outfit, the setup, just overall the video professionally done. Seems legit, but I still urge everyone to take everything he's gonna say with a grain of salt, because anybody can make a profile on YouTube claiming they're whoever they are, so
break down the details of the NEWJEANS dispute thoroughly based on Korean law and precedents to help both NEWJEANS and HYBE fans. And I can assure you, when you finish this video, you're the expert in NEWJEANS dispute plus contract law. Let's take a close look at those 8 grounds. The inclusion of the phrase new are, NEWJEANS I resurfing in a HYBE report and a lack of response to the statement, just scrap new and start fresh. This is not a valid ground for contract termination.
Wait, what was the first point?
The inclusion of the phrase new arc, NEWJEANS, I resurfing in HYBE report and lack of response to the statement, just scrap new and start fresh. As we kind of predicted without being lawyers, this was not valid grounds. He said it's not valid
I don't
grounds.
understand. What was the point he's pointing out?
Why do you add brand new every time you add, you don't remember?
I remember new arc. Was that to include?
They had 8 points what they needed to address.
I remember
this is
that.
the first point.
The first point was the inclusion of the phrase new arc, including NEWJEANS, the lack of response. Oh, so because they were moving on to a new project and didn't address their claims?
They didn't like the fact that they called the new projects new arc.
Why?
I don't know. They didn't like the phrase new arc because it was in there they assumed it has something to do with NEWJEANS, like competitors to NEWJEANS or whatever.
Just crap.
But anyway, we, without being legal experts, kind of also thought this was illegitimate.
Start fresh. This is not a valid ground for contract termination. Here's a fundamental principle of contract law. Grounds for exclusive contract termination must be clear. If multiple interpretations are possible, it is not clear. Subjective, abstract, or vague grounds
to me that was not clear.
Applying these principles to the phrase scrap new, it could be interpreted as excluding NEWJEANS or replacing them with another group. Could it even mean disbanding them? However, the exact commercial implications of exclusion or replacement are unclear. Most importantly, there is no specific explanation of how this phrase constitutes concrete harm to NEWJEANS. In court, arguments are made with clear and specific concepts. Phrases open to multiple interpretations hold little weight. Furthermore, the author of the report could have expressed a personal opinion, and there is no evidence of how HYBE...
Yes, that's important. I believe we've said this a couple times to our reactions. just because an employee at HYBE feels a certain way does not reflect the company's HYBE or ADOR. Does not reflect that's how the whole company feels. It's very important to distinguish an employee of a company and company's policy as a whole. It's just because somebody didn't say hi to Hani or whoever they didn't say hi to doesn't mean the company supports don't say hi to NewJeans. It just means that that employee has a beef with NewJeans. That's what it is. It's just a personal issue, not a company-wide issue.
Perceived or acted on this statement. In reality, NewJeans has not been excluded. They have been actively performing. In fact, creating NewJeans is not in HYBE's interest. HYBE stands to gain 100% from NewJeans generating revenue under this 7-year exclusive contract. Second, lack of action regarding a statement by a manager from another label telling Hani, ignore her. This is not about...
Ignore her. Typo. But yeah, as we said also.
Ground for contract termination too.
Maybe we should be lawyers for it too.
No.
Let's assume the manager of another label company actually made this comment. What measures could Adore realistically take against an employee of a different company? They lack the authority to intervene.
Exactly what we said.
Adore's explanation that they could not obtain evidence of the alleged remark and cannot compel an apology from the other company appears reasonable. Therefore, this does not qualify as grounds for contract termination. Third, insufficient response to inappropriate comments by a member of HYBE's PR team. Not a valid ground. While it's true that certain PR team members undermine NewJeans' achievement is problematic, HYBE and Adore took appropriate measures to address the issue. A mere inappropriate comment, if responded to appropriately, is insufficient to justify contract termination. Issue number 4, unauthorized release and failure to remove NewJeans' training photos and videos. Not a valid ground. The unauthorized release of training photos and videos occurred through media outlets, not through HYBE of Adore.
Yeah, that's also what we said. You kind of said that you cannot prove that HYBE and Adore authorized it or initiated this. Just because it happened doesn't, like, even you can have like 99% feeling, you cannot prove it.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. Like, I'm not saying HYBE or Adore didn't do it. I'm saying it's almost impossible to do. And even so, if an employee of HYBE and Adore do it, doesn't constitute HYBE or Adore policy for it to prove it, there would literally has to be an email from the CEO at Adore to an employee who did that say, release the photos. If that happened, then I think that is sufficient proof, but they ain't gonna get that.
HYBE will fulfill these contractual responsibilities by requesting the media outlets to remove the materials. That's all. Fifth, resolving the issue of HYBE undermining NewJeans' status through push-out tactics. Not a valid ground. No one can clearly explain what exactly is meant by push-out. In short, it is an abstract concept. Issue number 6, disputes with the dolphin kidnapping crew director and issues arising from the loss of previously completed work.
Oh, I think this is, remember how there was like a separate account that removed all the videos? I think this is what it is, because they wanted that account reinstated or something like that.
Sadly, not a valid ground. A company respects its artists and listens to their opinions, but business decisions ultimately fall under the company's authority. Even if some videos were deleted against the artist's wishes, this does not constitute grounds for contract termination. The exclusive contract clearly separates the rights and obligations of the company and the artist, especially when it comes to this.
This just confirms, like, even more that we already covered all of these points, but like, I wonder who is guiding NewJeans, because they should have received professional assistance to kind of make these big decisions so they don't face ramifications for breaking a contract.
Yeah, I mean, to everything he's saying is kind of basically what we've been saying through the video. So it just shows that even without having legal expertise, it's just kind of common sense. Like, NewJeans just kind of acted childish and prematurely, and I don't.
It's common sense until you reach a certain point in life. Like, you have to understand what a contract is.
Right,
It's not no pinky promise.
Yeah, like, I'm sure for teenagers it might not be a common sense, but so for people who have dealt with, stuff in life, business, work, it's pretty common sense for those people, yeah. And I'm sure, all the NewJeans fans are going to be like, oh, this guy's not even a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. As I said, maybe he's not, but the arguments he's presenting is what we've been presenting, and to me, they seem all legit.
disputes with other companies or contractual issues, these matters are entirely the company's responsibility and authority. If there is a dispute, it is the director of the dolphin kidnapping crew who should raise objections with HYBE. NEWJEANS might feel upset that their preferred director is being treated unfairly, but contractual responsibility is not based on feelings. Issue number 7, demanding all measures to protect NEWJEANS' identity and ensure their activities. Not a valid ground for contract termination. What exactly is NEWJEANS' identity? It's vague and subjective.
I kind of expected the group to kind of act like this, because when you typically form these groups, you kind of want them to have a strong sense of feelings more than thinking of logically, because feelings, it's you relate to the group, you take on emotions of others, and you'll understand what it means to be a team. Now, logically, it doesn't seem like any one of those girls had any kind of logic to understand that, okay, we can't actually move forward with this in this way.
I understand what you're saying, because, the girls, they spend their whole, teenage years, instead of studying law, studying business, they spend it practicing. So they don't really understand how that works. So I get, other people, they go to college, they deal with this. They understand it. This is kind of common sense again. For them, they never dealt with that.
And it's kind of still new group.
They are 2 years.
Yeah.
So they, they spend their years practicing, singing, dancing, going to college and studying, reading literature. It was not their thing. And I'm not saying that to insult them. It's just, that's what they do. Athletes do practicing, and that's why when athletes make the money, they hire the attorneys, they hire the accountants, to handle all that, the agents. So, NEWJEANS, whoever they hired, clearly did them wrong. Is that Min Hee-jin, or is they hired somebody else? I don't know who they hired.
Yeah, they lack the maturity, because we see with G-Idol, they were very much able to kind of see the situation and kind of manipulate it best for them in their favor. Yeah.
NEWJEANS being prevented from continuing their activities. From Adore and HYBE's perspective, NEWJEANS is one of their most valuable assets. Why did they intentionally impose an unfitting
That's what I've been saying.
identity or hinder their activities for a globally successful idol group? In reality, NEWJEANS has been thriving and working in their signature style. Based on their success, no one would reasonably conclude that HYBE has failed to take necessary actions to support NEWJEANS activities. Issue number 8, advocating for Min Hee-jin to return as CEO of Adore. This is not a valid ground for contract termination. Who serves as CEO is a matter of company management, which falls under the company's authority too. The company belongs to its shareholders, and decisions regarding leadership are made by the board of directors elected by those shareholders, not by the artists. Unless the exclusive contract explicitly states that only Min Hee-jin can serve as CEO. This is simply a unilateral demand from NEWJEANS. In conclusion, is it possible for NEWJEANS to terminate their exclusive contract? No, it is impossible. This conclusion is supported by all relevant laws and precedents related to exclusive contracting in the entertainment.
Nothing new, he said that here. It's just kind of, I guess, comforting that a legal expert, assuming he's an expert, kind of. No, well, as I said, nothing new is here. Basically, literally what we've been saying in every of our videos. But it's just nice to see that we weren't delusional, and the law is kind of how we think it is.
The industry. In most lawsuits concerning exclusive contracts, artists only win when there are clear legal grounds for termination. For example, Chu won her lawsuit in December 2021 against her agency Blockberry Creative, claiming that the revenue sharing ratio was unfair. The court acknowledged this. Omega X members won an injunction to suspend their exclusive contract with Spire Entertainment.
I think this is what I want more from him, to kind of understand list the scenarios where the artist was right as opposed to the company, because usually companies have these attorneys that's supposed to make sure that it's iron tight, safe in their interest. Right. So tell me the scenarios where the artist wins.
January 2023, citing the agency's violation of their duty to respect personal rights due to abuse, sexual harassment, and threats. Contract termination involves the most.
Right. So, for example, in Vicha's case, this is more like it. Maybe not like sexual harassment, but the abuse, it's there.
significant aspects of the agreement. Therefore, grounds for termination must be substantial and deliberate breaches of the contract. Based on precedents, such breaches might include a severely disproportionate revenue sharing ratio, for example, 9-to-1, continuous verbal or physical abuse, the company going bankrupt or entering rehabilitation, making it impossible to support the artists. The 8 reasons cited by NEWJEANS do not meet the criteria. Most of their claims lack evidence, and even if true, they are issues of personal dissatisfaction, not legal violations. In fact, far from termination, NEWJEANS may be liable for damages, sadly. Most legal experts share this view.
Yeah, they will be liable for damages. However, the damage, I don't know, like, the damages, basically how HYBE counter damages is the money, the profits NEWJEANS bringing in, multiplied by the 5 years that remain of the contract, which is kind of logical, right? That makes sense. However, the amount is so exorbitant that there ain't no way they're gonna pull out $500 million from, I don't know. Yeah,
they're gonna have to come to an agreement with
the amount is ridiculously huge, but HYBE's logic is correct though. Like, if we have a contract and you're gonna bring me that, I mean, I guess you could argue that doesn't, just because we brought that in the past doesn't mean we would in the future. Maybe, you know, it would decline. I don't know.
How can we predict that?
Right. But okay, but how can you predict that it will stay the same?
Because nothing showed in the trends otherwise.
Yeah. Stuff.
If anything, they brought it upon if there was it to be a decline, because the trend before, HYBE was doing everything for it to work.
Why did NEWJEANS stand the extreme steps?
Why did
they
they?
did not receive proper legal counsel.
They did not.
What you've been saying.
Oh my god.
That's what you've been saying.
No lawyer would have told NEWJEANS they could win this case in court. Why the contract termination press conference the worst move? First, there's the issue of penalty fees. These fees would make it difficult for NEWJEANS to find the proper agency. Based on the disclosed contract terms, the penalty fee amounts to approximately 600 billion Korean won, around $500 million.
Right, so the attorneys would not get paid nothing because they would owe HYBE everything. They would not be able to pay the attorneys.
In industry, penalty fees are calculated by multiplying the average monthly revenue of the past 2 years by the remaining months of the contract terms, considering Odor's revenue.
And that's standard practice too.
That is standard practice. That's why I said
it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what you will do the future year. Like for any loans too as well, they look at the last 2 years. And whether you're 2 years, they say, okay, this is the contract, we'll plan to that. Because you have to have a standard in some cases.
Now, what I would argue, he said revenue. I would argue that it has to be profits, not revenue, in court if I'm their attorney. Because to generate revenue, you incur expenses. Now, I'm not going to have the expenses, so why the fuck are we counting revenue? Because if I'm just paying you, you're not going to have to promote me. You're not going to have to pay my salary. So I would argue that if I'm their attorney in court for Adore, I would argue to reduce the amount, the 5 years times profits, not times revenue, because that's important. That's as good. That's like profit is like what, 20% margin you like on a good day, let's say. So you know that's like, instead of 550, that's 110 million they have to pay. So that's a big cut down. So if I'm their attorney, I would argue for that point. Now you know.
But that would make sense. Why would they do otherwise?
Right. To me, revenue doesn't make sense. To me, it has to be profit, because to generate revenue, you incur expenses. In this case, HYBE would not incur expenses because they're just literally given the money from NEWJEANS, assuming they have it, which they won't, but whatever. So, you know, I don't see why it would be revenue. Revenue doesn't make sense to me.
For 2023 was 110.3 billion, and that roughly 5 years remain on the contract. A simple calculation places the penalty at 551 billion Korean won, approximately $500 million US. If later it is ruled that NEWJEANS contract termination notice is invalid, any new agency that takes NEWJEANS on would be required to pay the full penalty.
So it's not just NEWJEANS, whoever they sign with. Oh boy.
As damages. Well,
ain't nobody signing them.
Who would take on NEWJEANS under such conditions? No one would. Moreover,
I wonder
NEWJEANS
how
has...
the person who signed them will also be liable.
I'm not sure, but that's what he said. I guess
because it's like a marriage, you assume their
kinda,
debts.
yeah.
terminated a contract without valid reason, citing a breakdown of trust. Who's to say the same thing wouldn't happen again with a new agency?
Right.
Any prospective agency would risk having to return all earnings from NewJeans to a door and pay the penalty fees on top of that. Who'll take that on such a liability? Their only option is to operate independently, but idol groups require extensive staff. They need access to recording studios, rehearsal
I think
space.
this is the time where they say, can we come back?
I think so. I think honestly, right now, I'm seeing the best scenario for NewJeans is take a humble pill, say, get on their knees and beg HYBE for mercy.
And do like an apology.
Yeah, issue a public apology that they were misguided by Min Hee-jin. Pour all the blame on Min Hee-jin.
That's what I would do.
All the fucking blame on Min Hee-jin. Everything. I was manipulated, Stockholm syndrome, any reason you can come up with.
I'm just a baby.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm uneducated. I have no education. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I can't believe I was this fooled. All the fucking reasons you can come up with, blame it on Min Hee-jin. Let her burn. That's your only way to come back.
Artists, costume designers, road managers, choreographers.
Even if they're not true reasons, even if you really stood by her, lie.
Composers, PR specialists, and hundreds of staff.
Yeah, because trust me, if the roles were reversed, Min Hee-jin would blame on the girls.
But you know what's interesting? The company, the agency they do want to go to is someone who's in that
family. Yeah, they want to start their own shit. I don't know.
Without a proper agency, even scheduling one appearance would be difficult. Even if they somehow manage to work independently, all earnings would eventually have to go toward paying damages to Adore. Second, the risk of being forgotten. If Adore files an injunction to prohibit their activities, NewJeans would have no option left except YouTube content. In reality, exclusive contract is to take 3 years at the shortest and then drag on for as long as 6 years. Hundreds of female idol groups debut every year. Established groups with strong fandoms build.
Yeah, we've also been saying that the legal battle is going to be long. Yeah, and most likely they're not going to be able to do nothing while the battle is ongoing.
But I do think if we did see a NewJeans comeback, a lot of people would watch.
Yeah, but it will go to HYBE. Because HYBE owns them.
It might endure, but for a rookie group unable to promote for over a year, they will be completely forgotten. In fact, my biggest question is this: why did they take such a drastic measure?
That's what we've been asking.
They need to put the blame on somebody.
Blame the lady.
Well, you all already know the answer. Behind all of this is Min Hee-jin. Looking closely, it seems
Blame the lady, I'm telling you.
NewJeans is mimicking Min Hee-jin's strategies.
He could have done this video. What he does for us is he put these images to
No, I feel like if he is a legit attorney, I'm glad to receive the confirmation that okay, we were correct in this situation. Now I'm sure all the bunnies gonna be he's not a legit attorney.
I want to see his comments.
Campaign and serving a termination notice could lead to the contract being nullified due to a breakdown of trust. But how could Adore or HYBE simply let go of such a valuable asset as NewJeans? If they truly believed the public opinion campaign media play would succeed, their strategy was naive as an elementary school level plan. This appears to be a result of blind faith in Min Hee-jin. However, the interests of Min Hee-jin and NewJeans are entirely different. Min Hee-jin left Adore after securing everything she could. She is an already proven producer, whether people like her or not. Competitors of HYBE are eager to recruit her with blackjack. She can create a new idol group anywhere. Meanwhile, NewJeans is burdened.
Right, there's nothing on her hands really. Like what's on her hands? Look, I guess the politics, the public opinion, public perception, but that's it. That's it. Like legally,
I don't know how
she's clean.
But
no prison time, no nothing.
Works with her in the future, they will look at her like.
Yeah, but prison time, death, nothing is there. There's nothing.
With a 600 billion Korean won penalty, $500 million US, and cannot rely on Min Hee-jin staying by their side indefinitely. To put it bluntly, this situation is one where Min Hee-jin is using NewJeans in her public opinion battle against HYBE. What lies ahead for NewJeans? Unlike other artists, NewJeans has not filed for an injunction to suspend the effectiveness of their exclusive contract. Some have praised this as a new approach to contract disputes. However, by serving a termination notice and continuing their activities, HYBE or Adore will inevitably have to file a lawsuit to prohibit those activities. And no party refrains from suing when the situation favors them. NewJeans note they are at a legal disadvantage. By escalating the situation to this point, they seem to expect that HYBE or Adore, who cannot afford to completely lose and will compromise without litigation. From Honduras' perspective, NewJeans is an incredibly valuable asset. It is rare for an idol group to generate such substantial global revenue in such a short time. However, thinking HYBE would back down in response to such extreme measures was their biggest miscalculation. How might this situation end? It is highly likely to conclude with
I don't think HYBE will back
and
down from that, because it has to send a message. Because then you see like all these groups starting to say, I'm over this contract.
I don't think HYBE will back down from that. I think HYBE will just let NewJeans perform and collect the checks. And NewJeans just keep performing without getting paid. I think that's what's going to happen. But look, he's saying it's highly likely to conclude reconciliation. Seems like it. Seems like that's the only way.
A settlement before or during litigation. The penalty fee is simply too large. If NewJeans fights to the end and loses, they would be burdened with debt for life. If they cannot promote for over a year due to the dispute, they risk being overshadowed by new idol groups and forgotten entirely.
It's 100 each.
Consider how fiercely competitive the K-pop industry is. On the other hand, from HYBE's perspective, the amount is too significant as well. HYBE also knows that even if they win the lawsuit and can claim $500 million from NewJeans, NewJeans cannot generate that amount of revenue without the help and support of HYBE's global infrastructure and support. Therefore, both sides understand that reconciling and resuming activities at some point would be a win-win scenario. The question is whether Min Hee-jin would allow this to happen and let NewJeans go.
Yeah, girls, get on your knees, beg for mercy. And it's gonna be embarrassing for them for a second, but listen, at least you will be in music. But let's see these comments. Are people dragging him or what? Thank you for objective presentation without the drama standard vitriol promoted by media.
Ooh.
Contractual responsibility is not based on feelings.
Ooh. When he says it, it's okay, but when we say it, it's like, you guys are HYBE apologists.
Yeah, I was a HYBE apologist for the longest. Yeah,
you kind of were, honestly.
How? I was saying the same thing.
You were too quick to take a side.
Because it was obvious to me.
Like,
I didn't need like a lawyer to explain to me. It was so fucking obvious what they're doing didn't make any logical legal sense. Like I didn't need. I'm glad that I was right, but.
But this kind of proves the point, because everyone always asks, do you think the girls are really innocent? I think they have not a clue what's going on.
At this point, I definitely feel like they don't have a clue what's going on. Yeah.
Well, guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And always, 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 always share as much kindness as possible.